Right.
zoning for this piece of property. The property is only 50 feet wide.
Hold on. Thank you. Sorry. Gotta switch gears on you. All right, if you would, just introduce yourself again, please.
Carolyn Woolsey, and it's concerning the rezoning of the property.
Okay.
The property is only 50 feet wide, side to side, and they would like to change the zoning to be more than 3 or more units. And I've read in the board paperwork here that they would need at least 80 feet to do a duplex and at least 100 feet to do a triplex. And it would have to face forward according to your rules because the property facing it is forward and the property next to it faces out towards the street. So I don't see how that would qualify for the rezoning if they don't have the property width to do that. I also have a map that I'd like to show you that shows that, and it shows how much is underwater at any given time, which is half the property. And for them to consider putting a business there, it would impact my property, which is next door, or it would impact the city because we know that the city already has a little bit of a problem with water movement. And if we were to add something that was going to displace this amount of water, then it would not be good for any of the neighborhood. That's basically it.
If you'll give me that map, I'll just keep that for our records. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Are we still on both? Yeah, Mr. Bradford, are you, want to
Wait till the.
wait for your item?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mr. President, everybody else has got a designated item they're going to speak on.
Okay.
We're up to item 5.
Which one?
That's green.
Yes.
All right, what I want to discuss from Green Court is really about how this was taken care of when I was trying to resolve it, resolve the situation. I called in to speak to the planning and zoning, and I get the message that he basically cannot speak to me. Mr. Session, I had come to you that morning or earlier with a question that I had asking, hey, if we put this back to the way it was, do we have to go through the permitting process? You said you did not know the answer, but you would get back to me. Okay. Well, you didn't get back to me. I don't know if it was intentionally or whatever, but you had a meeting that morning with I guess all who were involved with the planning and development, the code enforcement, and whoever else. Okay, you didn't have the courtesy to tell me that that the planning and zoning was no longer able to speak to me.
Well,
Because I got an email from planning and zoning telling me that they cannot speak to me. I have to speak to the lawyer or to you.
well, that was a surprise to me too, that email.
You were CC'd on that
I
email.
understand, but it was a surprise to me. I apologize for not getting back to you because I thought we had.
You gave me what you thought the answer was, but it had to come through planning and zoning where you had to get the official answer from that. Now, I definitely had issues with that right there, of where that I can only speak to the attorney, who does not respond back to me when I send him a question.
I don't recall having
I haven't sent you a question regarding Green Fork. I sent you a question regarding the Yulee situation and then followed it up with, hey, did you get my email? Still nothing. I mentioned it to the city manager. I mentioned it to others. Well, why is it that the city attorney is not speaking to me?
Well, I'll make sure you got the correct email where to send it to, because it goes to a lady in my office that monitors the municipal work.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you send it to mine, it may have got shipped to spam, but I didn't see it. But I'll make sure you've got the correct email tonight.
Yeah, because that's the reason I'm going, like, how in the world are you all expecting me to communicate with somebody who doesn't communicate with me?
Well, the other thing is the best way is by phone, to call, and we'll schedule, if I can't talk to you right then, I'll schedule a phone conference so that it's on everybody's calendar. That's the best way to do it.
And
When
then,
the email does go to spam, and if it's the first time you send it, ours is so encrypted with the legal word that we get in emails, that's probably what happened.
because I even sent a test, saying test, are you all getting anything from me? Then on top of this, where is Mr. Curtis in here? To right there. Regarding Greenport, I'm beginning to think that it's a personal vendetta. Because when someone do a violation, and I ask the question, when there's a violation, how many placards go on the door? The answer was usually one. But on this particular business, you put 4.
Mr. Sessions has the answer for that.
You put 4. Yes, Mr.
I didn't do
I'll
anything.
answer that.
I had nothing to do with it.
Hold on. All right, finish your statement, and then we'll get an answer from either Mr. Curtis or...
There was 4. I spoke to Mr. Sessions about that prior, because when I came from off 510, I purposely went by there. And there was 4 placards on the building. And I asked Mr. Sessions, is that normal? Mr. Sessions called to and found the answer, and the answer was, no, that is not normal of what we do, of why that was what you, Mr. George Curtis, you gave to the code enforcer. You gave him all 4 of those, put them on the building. So you all can tell me that right now, that a business trying to open up here in Live Oak feel like they're being slighted. And the things that this city is supposed to be helping small businesses to get started. But this particular one is that it seems like we have our meetings in our offices, determine how we're going to handle this right here. But that's a city councilwoman can't ask questions unless she goes through the lawyer or whatever. That doesn't sit well with me. Not at all. And I said to you at the beginning, I said I'm trying to stay out of this right here. I tried to stay out of the Green Fort and the city, trying to balance. But when it got to a certain point, I said, hey, let me jump in and try to help come up with a solution. But it seems like when I tried to work with the people up here in the city, you all were working against me of trying to help a business get started. And I just don't understand why.
All right,
So
city manager.
when Ms. Vanessa and I were having our meeting, she asked me about what was customary for placards. So I called the code enforcement person, called him up while we were discussing it. He said, well, typically I would just put 1 out there. So when I found out there were 4, I questioned Mr. Curtis. He said, well, I told them to put 1 on the back door, the front door, and the windows facing out. So he gave him 4 placards. That was his answer. So I don't know that we've done more or less in the past with code enforcement as far as the amount of placards we do. But the answer that Ms. Vanessa heard was 1 from Mr. Fisher, and then when she saw 4, I'm sure that makes her think that it was overkill.
It was.
But the answer that I got was we wanted 1 for the back door, the front door, and then windows that were facing, I guess, south. So that's the answer that I got for that.
All right, Mr. Curtis, let's hear from...
George Curtis, Development Manager. I assisted the code enforcement officer on this. I don't normally get, it has to rise to a certain level to where I start getting involved. I know there's been other cases that I've assisted him on where we've put multiple notices out. We've done yard signs in front of properties as well as putting notices on buildings. That's happened in the past. And so, because of the kind of immediate health and safety nature of this being a situation that merited a lot of alarm for the public and for the property owner and everybody else that was involved, because there's two means of getting in and out of the property. It was just, wasn't anything personal. I got nothing personal. There's no vendetta. I mean, we've been bending over backwards trying to help this business, as we do with all of them. There's nothing unusual with all the information we provide and try to be helpful. But when it's such a high level of violation, you think, well, we're gonna try to get the word out as best we can because it's a serious matter. So, but it's nothing personal, and it's no vendetta. And I worked there a long time. I've never had anybody say that. I got a clean track record, and I apologize if that seemed like a bad way to approach it. It's just, like I said, other properties we've done multiple notices to. I mean, Jamie pretty much runs his own show. He's not being micromanaged, so he probably makes judgment calls on his own. And that's, we're all here to try to help everybody. I mean, that's the mission.
And
But you gotta follow the rules. You got rules to follow. I mean, we're here to help people navigate the rules
And when I was trying to help navigate the rules,
right.
I couldn't talk to you.
Right, so a manager form
therefore-
of government does not allow a council person, especially when it's a legal matter.
When did it
This is
become a
the
legal
way
matter?
Ron Williams ran it, this is
When-
the way
when-
I ran it.
When
I was
did it
in
become a
here.
legal matter? No, I want to know, when did it become a
Because
legal
Mr. Kennan-
matter?
Mr. Kennan had issued a legal opinion on this, and so it had left the staff level. As soon as he got involved and he issued a legal opinion, directly back to the individual who was running the business, as soon as he got to that level, then I either need to be with Mr. Kennan or I need to be with Mr. Sessions to discuss it further, because it's to a level where there's legal representation. It's like saying this is the subject of some kind of investigation, and we can't comment until everybody's at the same table. Because then then words get pulled out of context or confused or whatever. I mean, Mr. Sessions, that's a standing rule. When it comes to Mr. Kennan being involved. But that was my understanding. So,
One-sided legal matter. So are you saying in order to talk to you guys, now I need to go get an attorney? Is this
no, it's
where?
just, we have to, the interests of the city, I think, have to be protected by an attorney.
And that's what I was trying to do, the interest of the city and the interest of a business person,
Sure.
trying to do a business. But then I get stonewalled for your legal matter that you all considered, that you all sat in the office and made a legal matter. Could have at least given me the courtesy to say, hey, listen, this is a legal matter, Vanessa, hey,
That's
this
what
is what
the
we're trying.
email said. It said that I, because it has risen to that level, that I'm unable to comment. Unless I'm with Mr. Sessions or Mr. Kennan.
Right.
You all
Let me
decided.
let me say
It's
this.
just a simple,
Let me say this concerning that, because I talked with Ms. Brown, Shanice on some things, and it was brought up in a CRA meeting, and it brought up about for his counsel, and was there a legal counsel? Did she have an attorney? And there's a second party involved, and I talked with both, and Ms. Brown said she did not have an attorney. But meanwhile, we're listening to something in the CRA in that meeting saying that we could not have a good, because now you talk about a legal matter, that her attorney and our attorney need to work things out for us, whatever the legality of it. But then I talked with a second party saying that they are part ownership, and they never give me and understanding, did they have an attorney or did they not? So when I heard the word attorney come up in our personal conversation, I deceased our conversation, because now you got attorneys involved, and I'm not gonna get into legal matters, even on a one-on-one conversation. And so, the thing is now is compliance. Has, Ms. Brown, in compliance with everything that she need to do in order to open up this business?
That's not the reason I'm thinking, as to what to bring forth my discussion right here. Where I was asking a question so that I could help her get into compliance, but did not get an answer because I was stonewalled. Okay? So, we're working on that. But questions that I have need to be answered, but I got to go, I guess, through legal representation to get an answer.
I don't see a problem discussing it with Mr. Sessions.
This is my problem. When I discuss it with Mr. Session has meetings on the side that then goes back, that doesn't include me in trying to resolve the issue.
Well, that's what staff does, is determine what needs to be done.
And that was, don't talk to Vanessa. When I had the conversation with Mr. Sessions about what was needed, would this right here occur? When he did not respond to me, and like I said, I don't think his non-response was because he didn't want to respond. I think it was just because of the timing, and which I was trying to work with other companies to get this resolved. And so I called directly to George, and the receptionist going like, I guess she gets caught up in the middle. Hey, you really can't talk to him. Send him an email if you want to communicate with him. I'm going like, no, ask Mr. George to call me. Then I received his email. And then I called Mr. Sessions back and speak to him about this email that I received of, I can't speak to him.
The standard procedure for as long as I've been here has been, once things rise to, they escalate to the level of the city attorney being involved. That's with Ernie Sellers when he was here, David Robinson, Adam Morrison with me, sat in on some of our city attorney, Mr. Coberline. It's always been that way since I've been here. Standard procedure is that once the attorney has to issue a legal opinion, then he needs to be involved, or at least the city manager does, in any further discussions, because it means that we're at a level where only the highest level of officials can be part of it. And we staff can be part of it, but it has to be in their office or in their presence. That's the way it's always been.
So, Ms. Vanessa, I had the meeting because I was trying to find out the information from staff, exactly what questions that you answered, and frankly, I thought you were going to call me because I said I need to get this information, and can you call me later? But I wasn't trying to stonewall you for sure, and maybe you forgot.
No, I did call you later when I was telling you what happened when I tried to call him.
And that was a surprise to me too. But I see Mr. Curtis's point, but I definitely wasn't stonewalling you. I was gathering information that day. That's why I have meetings. When you ask me questions, or any board member asks me questions, I gather the people together to ask them questions about, because I don't know all the answers. I have to get it from them.
Right.
So if we missed out on our final conversation, that's my fault.
Yeah, we missed out on trying to get this situation resolved and trying to get it resolved so that it could be satisfactory on both sides, to get a business up and going, and also to look out for the welfare of the city. And I just think there's a lot of things along those in the process just went backwards. Because even before that, and then I'm going to get off of this right here. This board that makes decisions awarded a grant
Well, that's a CRA matter. If you start getting into grants, that's for the CRA.
No.
grants.
But it was somebody who prevented that, who's on staff or who prevented that grant from being mailed, that check from being mailed.
No, I can explain that. On the 14th of October, Ms. Brown came into my office and we had a meeting about the things that she needs to do to follow the list of things to move in. And at that point in time, she signed a piece of paper that says, I declined the CRA grant.
No.
I have a piece of paper showing her signature.
That was before. This happened before. This happened before that. That's weeks afterwards of that right there, of saying where she declined, because I would have declined it as well. This board sat here and we approved grants like we normally do. It's what we done. And then it was supposed to be mailed out, but it was never mailed out. It's customary for it to, it ended up in somebody else's hands and said, we're not sending it out. So, we all can, say what we want, but that right there happened, and it wasn't like weeks ago. So therefore, with this community forum, there's a lot of things that was done wrong, or that could have been done better on both sides, but with the city, and then it's like the things, those placards gave me pause as to it was personal, because somebody didn't do something that our planning and zoning person wanted done the way they wanted it done. So I have,
All right,
All right, Mr. President, we have the public comment section of this.
all right, let's go.
All right, I think Ms. Anitra, she wants to jump in the gun. Your 3 minutes, Ms. Anitra.
Can I have somebody else's minute?
No,
It can't be shared.
okay, Cheryl.
Well, first of all, I'm not talking, I have a lot of questions listening to Ms. Robinson. I've seen it in the
Would introduce